Something big just hit Philly, and not in a good way. The Eagles, already stumbling through a rough patch with 2 consecutive losses, just got rocked by some unexpected news that could change the course of their entire season. Out of nowhere, veteran edge rusher Zadarius Smith announced his retirement. No warning, no build-up, just a sudden goodbye posted on Instagram that left fans and the front office stunned. And let's be real, this wasn't just a locker room presence or a depth piece walking away. Smith was arguably the most productive edge rusher the Eagles had all year, and while that doesn't say much given the unit's overall lack of impact, losing your top performer midseason like this, that's a serious blow. The timing could not have been worse. Philly's defense was already reeling, especially up front where the pressure off the edge has been nearly non-existent. Through 6 games, the production from that position group has been flat-out disappointing. Smith had only 1.5 sacks, but that still led all Eagles edge defenders. Patrick Johnson is next on the list with just 1 sack, and after that, nothing. 0. Add in the fact that Nolan Smith is still stuck on injured reserve and Agbo Arono is out for the season, and what you're left with is a dangerously thin rotation. Against the Vikings, the Eagles will suit up just 4 healthy edge rushers: Jelix Hunt, Josh, Azeez Ojulari, and Johnson. None of them have been game changers. Of course, the coaching staff is doing their best to spin the situation. Nick Sirianni came out and said all the right things, praising the guys still on the roster, talking up their effort and potential, and insisting that the team has the depth to handle this internally. He highlighted young players like Jix who are continuing to grow, and he expressed full confidence in the defensive line as a whole. But it's hard not to look at this situation and see a glaring hole that desperately needs to be filled, and fast. The strange part is how sudden all of this was. Just over a month ago, Zadarius Smith was talking about how much football he still had in him. He joined the Eagles saying he wasn't even close to done, brushing off any suggestion of retirement. He talked about being young in the game, about still having plenty left in the tank, about how he wasn't ready to hang it up. And then, poof, he's gone. No big press conference, no farewell tour, just a short message saying he's moving on to the next phase of his life. It's jarring. And while it's tempting to speculate, maybe the team's recent struggles played a part in this decision. Maybe Smith saw a season spiraling in the wrong direction and figured it wasn't worth the grind. But others have reported that his reasons were strictly personal, unrelated to the Eagles' performance or future. Whatever the reason, Smith's exit puts the Eagles in a tough spot. The need to add another edge rusher was already there. Now it's urgent. And unsurprisingly, the rumor mill is heating up fast. We're seeing familiar names pop up again, and with the trade deadline creeping closer, you have to imagine how ROSEMAN is working the phones. One name that continues to surface is Jalen Phillips. The Dolphins' edge rusher is in the final year of his rookie deal and has been connected to the Eagles since way back in the offseason. With Miami off to a disappointing 1-5 start, they might be open to moving him if they don't see a long-term future there. He only has 1 sack this year, but the upside is clear. 22 sacks across his first 3 seasons shows this is a guy who can get after the quarterback. And more importantly, he probably wouldn't cost the Eagles a fortune in trade assets. Then there's his teammate, Bradley Chubb. Now, this one would be a bit more complicated. Chubb comes with a bigger contract and a longer commitment. He signed through 2027, but he's also been more productive this season, already notching 4 sacks in 6 games. That's a total nobody in Philly's current edge group is even close to. But here's the risk. Chubb is 29, he's coming off an ACL injury, and his advanced numbers haven't exactly impressed this year. Still, if the Eagles want experience and some pass rush juice, Chubb's name should absolutely be on the list. Of course, you can't talk about pass rush trade rumors without bringing up Trey Hendrickson. His name has been thrown around in Eagles circles since March, and with the Bengals sitting at 2-4 and Hendrickson on an expiring contract, it makes sense that the buzz is back. As a short-term rental, this could be a dream fit. The guy brings intensity, production, and he wouldn't lock up future cap space. The problem? It would still take a decent package to pry him away, and that's assuming the Bengals are even willing to move him. Another intriguing target is Jermaine Johnson of the Jets. Reports say multiple teams have already called about acquiring him, but the Jets would want a significant return. Johnson is young, talented, and off to a strong start this year despite missing a few games. Plus, he played at Georgia, just like a bunch of current Eagles. That chemistry can't be ignored. The big question is what it would take to land him, and if the Eagles are willing to pay that price. Other names worth mentioning include Cameron Jordan from the Saints, a savvy vet still producing at a high level, and Arden Key of the Titans, who's more of a budget option but consistently finds ways to pressure the quarterback. Even Kingsley Enagbare from the Packers has been linked to potential deadline deals as a quality depth addition. The options are out there, but the market will be competitive. Everyone wants pass rush help this time of year, and that means the Eagles will have to be aggressive if they really want to upgrade. And let's not ignore the buzz surrounding a possible return of C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That noise has been getting louder ever since the blowout loss to the Giants, where the defense looked flat, soft, and completely lacking that edge Gardner-Johnson brought during his time in Philly. Right now, he's sitting on the Ravens practice squad, or rather, was, because he was just released in what was described as a mutual decision. At the same time, the Eagles opened up a spot on their own practice squad, which naturally led to speculation that a reunion could be brewing. Gardner-Johnson was a fan favorite for a reason. He plays with attitude, brings energy to the secondary, and oh yeah, when he was on the Eagles roster, they made a run to the Super Bowl. Twice. So it's not hard to see why fans are dreaming about him coming back. The thing is, we don't really know why the team traded him away earlier this year. Whatever those reasons were, they haven't been made public. So while the door doesn't seem wide open, it's definitely not closed either. Especially now, with that roster spot cleared and the defense in desperate need of a spark. Beyond just names and rumors, though, there's something deeper going on with this defense. Some around the league are saying the Eagles look gassed, emotionally and physically. Think about it. They played deep into February last season. They've been dealing with injuries, and they just had a short week where the defense was on the field for over 70 snaps in the heat. That kind of workload adds up, and it shows. The performance against the Giants wasn't just bad, it was uninspired. And while you don't want to use fatigue as an excuse, it might help explain the lack of urgency we're seeing. Still, reinforcements would help. Whether it's a trade for a pass rusher, a surprise return from a familiar face, or just getting healthy bodies back in the rotation, something has to change, and fast. Because right now, this Eagles defense isn't living up to expectations, and they're not getting the job done. While the defense clearly has some holes to patch up, the bigger concern might actually be on the other side of the ball. Because as shaky as things have looked defensively, the offense has been downright alarming. We're talking about an Eagles unit that was once known for creativity, balance, and execution, and now, it feels like they're stuck on repeat, showing the same looks, running the same routes, and getting the same underwhelming results week after week. And after watching what went down against the Giants, there's no other way to put it. This offense has become predictable, painfully predictable. You don't even need to be an expert to see it. Look at the breakdowns making the rounds. Same 2x2 sets, same motions, same mirrored routes. Third and long. 2 stops and 2 verticals. Third and medium. Exact same play. It's almost like watching a team running practice drills instead of a game plan tailored to beating a specific opponent. Defenses aren't just reading the Eagles, they're anticipating them. They know what's coming before the ball is even snapped. And when that happens in the NFL, you're dead in the water. It's not just about the route trees or formations either. There's a broader lack of imagination here that's seeping into every aspect of the offense. From run game execution to red zone play, calling to tempo and situational awareness. The running game has completely lost its rhythm, often getting stuffed early in downs and putting the team in constant second and long or third and long situations. And that's just setting up more of the same stale pass plays that everyone has already seen on tape. You combine that with poor blocking, questionable decision-making, and receivers not getting open quickly enough, and you've got a unit that's grinding its own gears. To make matters worse, when pressed on it publicly, the coaching staff doesn't exactly offer much clarity. Offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo, for example, spent most of his recent press conference sidestepping questions, giving vague answers, and repeating phrases like, "We're working on it," or "We're evaluating everything." That might fly for a week or two, but we're 6 games into the season now, and fans are tired of hearing about internal evaluations. They want results. They want adjustments. And above all, they want accountability. Nick Sirianni has acknowledged the issues, at least on the surface. He's talked about needing to be more efficient on early downs, needing to clean up the run game, needing to find more consistency overall. He even mentioned during the bye week that the staff had a lot of ideas they wanted to implement moving forward. But again, none of that means anything if it doesn't show up on Sundays. The offense has been sputtering, and it's not just on the play caller, though that spotlight is definitely on him. It's about the entire unit. The offensive line, which is supposed to be a strength, hasn't been dominant. The wide receivers have had drop issues and haven't separated consistently. And even the quarterback, who has all the talent in the world, has struggled to process defenses quickly and get the ball out on time. So where do the fixes begin? It might sound simple, but it really starts with getting back to the basics. Better first down play calling, smarter route combinations, a renewed commitment to the run game, not just in scheme but in attitude. And most importantly, an offense that keeps defenses guessing instead of playing right into their hands. When the Eagles are at their best, they're aggressive, physical, and unafraid to mix things up. Right now, it feels like they're playing scared, like they're trying not to make mistakes instead of trying to impose their will. The hope, of course, is that the mini-bye week gave them enough time to take a hard look at the tape, fix what's broken, and come out swinging in their next matchup. But it's hard to be optimistic when you've seen the same issues crop up week after week. This isn't just about execution, it's about philosophy. And if that doesn't change, the results won't either. All of this is going to be put to the test immediately because the next game isn't some throwaway matchup. It's a big one against a Vikings team that, despite their inconsistencies, is very much in the thick of things and poses some real challenges. And interestingly enough, they're going through their own quarterback drama that could have a direct impact on this game. With both J.J. McCarthy and Carson Wentz dealing with injuries, Minnesota has a legitimate decision to make at the most important position on the field. McCarthy was the starter earlier in the year and is supposedly the future of the franchise, but he's missed time with an ankle injury. Wentz, on the other hand, has played well in relief despite some shoulder soreness, and you know he would love nothing more than to go up against his former team and prove he's still got it. FlyEaglesFly News family, smash subscribe and hit like. Your support keeps the freshest Philadelphia Eagles updates flying in. Drop your take in the comments, and let's talk birds. The NFL rumor mill is ablaze this week as whispers out of Philadelphia suggest that Eagles general manager Howie Roseman is preparing to make one of the most consequential decisions of his career, and all eyes are on star wide receiver A.J. Brown. Sources close to the team claim that the front office is engaged in intense, behind-the-scenes negotiations that could reshape the Eagles roster in ways fans are not yet ready for. Insiders describe the mood around the facility as electric, with discussions reportedly stretching late into the night, punctuated by sharp debates and strategic plotting. According to those familiar with the talks, Roseman is weighing a move that some believe could send shockwaves through the league. A.J. Brown, who has been a pivotal figure in the Eagles' offense, is said to be at the center of a decision described by one anonymous source as tough, unprecedented, and career-defining. While no official statements have been released, the chatter around the NFL suggests that teams across the league are quietly monitoring the situation, ready to pounce if an opportunity arises. The speculation doesn't end there. Rumors hint at a potential blockbuster trade scenario, though the exact parameters remain shrouded in secrecy. Some insiders suggest that a package involving multiple draft picks could be on the table, while others argue that the Eagles may simply be testing the waters to see which teams would be willing to step up for a player of Brown's caliber. Meanwhile, fans on social media are buzzing, with heated debates about whether the Eagles would dare part ways with one of their most explosive offensive weapons. What makes this story particularly intriguing is the timing. With the offseason still unfolding and major contracts looming on the horizon, Roseman's decision is expected to set a precedent for how the Eagles handle high-stakes personnel moves. Sources describe the GM's office as a pressure cooker environment, with advisors, coaches, and front office staff weighing every angle and consequence. Brown himself, while publicly maintaining focus on the field, is reportedly aware of the swirling speculation, adding another layer of tension to an already combustible scenario. As the rumor mill spins, one thing is clear. Whatever decision Roseman makes regarding A.J. Brown will be felt far beyond Philadelphia, potentially sending ripples across the entire NFL landscape. Teams are watching, Fans are theorizing, and the sports world waits with bated breath for the hammer to fall. That's a wrap from FlyEaglesFly News. If you want the fastest Eagles updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Sound off in the comments. Let's talk birds.